this is your daily dose of business advice. Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we have an extremely important subject. It is called buying a car. Super important. Everybody wants to have a car. They're amazing. You're gonna have fun driving it. But do you really want to spend all that money? Of course you do. Who doesn't, right? No one does. And this is inspired by, of course, our favorite CNBC article, which talks about cars. It talks about cars. They do have some expert who worked in finance for about 13 years and then retired in Hawaii and having fun writing blogs and sending it to all kinds of news outlets. And he is the hero of the day, bad-mouthing American auto industry, spreading misinformation that you should not be borrowing money against your credit to drive around. You definitely should. And you do want this fancy super duper car which has the latest features and it's amazing. Everyone knows that. What he's saying though, he's being a little sour. He's giving us some bad advice guys. You don't want to follow it whatsoever. What he's saying is you can't spend, listen to this, you can't spend more than 10% of your annual income on a car. And he's not saying that you can only spend 10% of your annual income in car payments. What he's saying is that if you make $50,000, don't buy a car which is more expensive than $5,000. He's saying that if you're making $25,000, in fact, ride a bicycle. Unless you can find a car for $2,500, which you probably can't. Wow. Of course, perfect advice. If you don't spend money on a car, you definitely have money to invest, money to spend on other fun things. But little known fact that he's also not recommending spend money on too many fun things either. But the whole point of this is that it really struck me into into some part of the brain where it exploded, because majority of people, they really don't follow this rule. If you think about it, like how recent was your car purchase and did you actually stick within the 10% rule? A lot of financial data shows that people overspend on the car. And when we go to the Investopedia, and where did it go before that? Investopedia, yes. Go to Investopedia. It says American debt, $1.2 trillion in auto car loan debt. This equals to a mere 53 million brand new Toyota Camrys, which are priced at $23,000. And if you're like me that knows the price of the car, you probably know that you can probably figure out how to get it for even less if you're trying to buy a base model. So thing is that Americans owe to banks 53 million Toyota Camrys right now. This is 1/6 of American population driving a brand new car. I have a couple of issues with this. Do you really want to drive a Toyota Camry? I mean, with all due respect, this is an amazing car, but not everybody is into that stuff. Some people want to drive a Hyundai Sonata or a BMW X7 or maybe a Porsche, maybe something really, really fancy. Who knows? The bottom line is that if you overspend on the car, you're going to be part of the American problem. Because, as we can see, young people are buying cars left and right. They're just going crazy. They're going insane. They're jumping on every opportunity to buy a car. They literally obliterating the banks off of their cash and asking them to pay to dealerships on their behalf to simply drive around. What do I think about it? I don't know. You guys decide. My job is to warn you. Don't overspend if you can't afford it. There's definitely a little bit of data out there which shows that if you buy a brand new car, or if you buy a used car which is super duper nice, you're very, very excited. It drives like, it's super smooth. You're loving it. You've probably been like riding a bicycle or taking a subway. Maybe you took a bus all the time. And then you're like, wow, it gets me from point A to point B in 12 minutes instead of 2.5 hours. And this is, of course, all valid points. But what the data shows that people stop being that excited about their car very, very quickly. And the car loan continues on and on and on. It continues between 4 and 7 years with an average of 5. And you don't want to be this sad person who has a car which started breaking down. You need to start throwing money in to fix it. You still owe a lot of money on this car. You're probably thinking that your monthly payment is going to take care of your transportation needs, and you probably did your math wrong. No one is gonna tell you exactly how much you're gonna spend unless you just live through it. Or you can ask me. This is another option. Just ask me, because I own 2 cars, 2 Volvos. They're a little older. They drive amazing. I didn't pay much money for them, but they are amazing, but they do cost money to maintain. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes you need to figure out how to do it yourself. Sometimes you save up money to have a professional do it. But if you want to have a really good time in your life, and no one wants to have a bad time, of course, you don't want to overpay for a car. Yes, it is nice. Yes, it is fancy, but there's only so much time in the day that you spend inside that car. And nobody really cares how it looks. Just make sure that it's safe to drive, that like the wheels don't go into separate directions. So here's the little wisdom for the day. Don't overspend on the car, and save up money for your retirement, of course. And ideally don't get trapped into lengthy loans for no reason. With that, I want to remind you that you haven't clicked the like button right here, or right there, or like in both of those places, it's probably somewhere. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to me, because I'm going to start giving you amazing tips and advice that you would hear nowhere else. So make sure to do it right now. Subscribe. And don't spend too much money on useless stuff. Have a good day, guys. And, of course, see you in the next video.